Welcome back to another video, right? So as you can see on my right, the markets are not moving so great at the moment, right? So these two pages that I have from here were from the previous video. If you can recall them, for example, we have here Usdcad from the previous market breakdown video. And then this is how it looked like. I meant to record a video and explain, like reviewing that analysis. But yeah. And then also news to JPY, also saw this bullish momentum over here, and then it went accordingly. So this is analysis from that video. So if you didn't watch it, do check it out. And also saying, yeah, this is analysis from the previous market breakdown. And then lastly, I had USD CHF, which never reached that support level. But yeah, they went to the direction anyway. So what's happening this week, right? So like I said, guys, the market is moving a bit. I don't know how can I call it. I don't know if maybe it's because we're approaching the end of the month. But let's start quickly on the DXY, right? Because the DXY tells us about the dollar strength. So I'm not gonna like start over, right? So what I see happening here, so that's the all-time high. Like, okay, first, third, second, third, maybe fourth one in future. Now, the reason why I have this level over here is to say, because of the type of candles that are being formed over there. So if you look at it, this is what's been happening. High, low, high, low, high, low, high, low. So if this is a support level or an area where we're gonna get an hour low, that will give us another high. Then I'll be looking at the probability of getting that new low over here that will warrant the move to the upside, right? So that is why I have that level over there. Now, if you go to the H4, right? I thought maybe, because when I looked at it, I thought maybe we're having an inverse head and shoulder here, which is left leg, the head, and then the shoulder, but eventually it didn't, because I had it like this, and then it played back in. So what is it that could possibly happen over here? So if this is a true breakout, then we're most likely to see the DXY approaching this level where we could most likely get the push to the upside. So that is what I'm looking at, or the probability that I have my eyes on. However, it can also just respect that level in this sense, and then eventually go to the upside, which will mean then that the dollar will be strong, hence buying your Usdcad, USD CHF, and selling your Euro USD, SGP and many more. But what I want us to focus on, right, for this video is these ones. So everything that I highlighted over here, which is Cadchf, Eurnzd, Bambelo, Usdcad, and Audchf. So that is what we're going to focus on, right? But I'm not gonna start over, guys, okay? So in Cadchf, right, this is what's going on. So if you look at what's going on here, you would see that, okay, the market broke out, right? So we still have this overall high, where we would most likely complete the 90% rule, okay? So what does this mean now? Means that if the market does respect what's happening here, then it could either go down for a double bottom and go up, or sorry about that. Or if it doesn't do that, then it would most likely push furthermore up to the upside, right? So that's what I'm looking at on the weekly time frame. And then we're just gonna erase that now, right? So like I said, we have this high. And also here, this is what's happening, okay? But it does not necessarily mean that when we get to that support level, because the reason why I highlighted that level is because of what's happening here, right? If you look carefully at what's going on there, that's a key level that we need to put our eyes on should the market get to it, right? Which then means should the market break it, retest, then we look for sells. However, if it respects these highs, low, high, 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 low, high, low, high, and then that's another high, low, and then push further more to the upside, then it is in that the reason why I would look for buys. I understand. So we're just gonna erase this because now you can see what is it that I'm looking at, right? And if you look at what's going on there, the market is approaching that key level in a corrective manner. And then when the market does that, it means that it most likely going to change direction and reverse. You understand? So hence I have what is possibly a continuation pattern, right? So what is it that's going on here now? So as you can see, like I said, since the market is looking to be approaching the support level from the daily time frame correctively, it can either do two things from now. It can simply just inspect this one and push up to the upside in that sense, right? Alternatively, it can want to come to that main area, which is the way I have highlighted it here, which is it would still wait for it to approach that level. As a result, I'll be looking at something like this, pushing the price to the upside in this sense, if ever it approaches that level. But the market does what it want to do, guys, so it can still push up from that mini level inside. And then again here, with this one, I also need you to keep in mind what I said on the previous video about candlestick closes or candlesticks from the higher time frame. Because if you look at what's going on here on your Eurnzd, right, you can clearly see that we have some sort of a key level over here because we rejected first time, second, and the third time. So now, considering the fact that we're in a bullish, where the market is currently positioned and that support level, should that candle close like that, it will be enough for me to say the market is most probably gonna go to the upside because of the fact that we're at that key support level from the higher time frame, and that candlestick close will then confirm that the market still respects the support level, which is 1.74, 1.74428. And then I'll be looking at what it's something like that, right? And then now let's go to the 4-hour time frame to check what's going on here, and also if the lower time frames, do they correspond with what I see on the higher time frame, right? Because guys, like as I usually say, what happens on the daily time frame, right, it will also happen on the lower time frames. But it's just that on the lower time frame, it's going to happen much more quicker than on the higher time frames, right? So for example, if that daily candle closes like that, then like I said, I'll be looking for buying opportunities, which is on the lower time frame, right? So how will we look for those buys then? So as you can see here, we have not yet broken out. We're still playing inside the structure. So in terms of what's going on, I would like to see the market pulling back and then going up like that. Or it can either break out, establish some sort of a support level over here, and then push to the upside. So that is what I'll be looking at on Eurnzd, right? So let's move now to GBP NZD. So these two pairs are correlated in a way, right? Because think about it, there's no way that the the New Zealand dollar can outperform or be stronger than the euro, and you find that GPNZD is going to be a sell. It doesn't make sense. Now, I'm talking about logic, even despite Forex terms and everything like that. What I'm saying is there's no way that euro NZD would be a buy and you find GBP NZD as a sell, because the euro and the pound are one of the strongest currencies. So it's not always the case, but with these two, think about it. How can the New Zealand dollar be stronger than the pound, right? It can be strong, right? But my point is, there is no way that the New Zealand dollar can be a sell, which is this pair can be a sell, and then you find Euro NZD as a buy, right? And yeah, I hope that makes sense. So what's happening here on the higher chart, which is on the daily time frame? If you look carefully what's going on, you can see that we have an inverse head and shoulder, right? So as a result, I'm looking for buying opportunities, okay? And also we can just quickly highlight this. It's not gonna be perfect thing, but we can just cater for that, which is that touch, that turn, and those two turns, and then ultimately the one we're at currently. I'm sorry. So it's a similar thing, guys, right? We still see that bullish candle over there. Of which, if it closes like that, then I'm be looking for buys. So we're talking about what could happen as from Tuesday. But here's what's tricky now, or what's going on, right? So as you can see, we haven't anticipated the touch over there. Hence, but I chose to represent that with a horizontal arrow instead of the trend line, right? Which is in this manner. Okay, just so I can make it simple. And now, as you can see here, we have a reversal pattern of which the market has already broken out with a long bullish candle, which indicates that the market indeed want to go to the upside. But now, like I said, what's tricky now is how the market is behaving currently, right? Because that is an ascending channel, but it's risky to say we would buy from there, because you can buy from there and you find that it pulls back down to take out your stop loss and eventually go to the upside, right? So we need to be careful here in terms of how we can get in, because this is not necessarily, it would make sense if it was something like, let's say, impulse move, then you get a mini pen that, and then, right, it would make a lot of sense. But now we are moving in this manner, which is anything can happen here. It can get us a third touch, then go back down, or it can still move in this sense, right? And actually go to the upside. But the way I see it, I would wish or like that GBP NZD comes, let's say, maybe back to retest maybe here, and then eventually go to the upside in this sense, right? So that is, but overall, all I'm saying, what I'm saying to you right now is that GBP NZD is most definitely gonna be a buy. It's a bull market from the way I see it. Just that the 1 hour time frame is not necessarily that clearer to say indeed it's gonna go to the upside. So let's move now to USDCAD. So USDCAD, I'm not gonna lie to you, it's a tricky one, because if you also look at the DXY, which is if the DXY gives us that sell to that low, then it will mean that the dollar will be weak, and hence having USDCAD as a sell. But the reason why I believe that USDCAD will be a buy will be what I'm gonna say, right? So if we look carefully what's going on here, right? We have this sort of a pattern that we broke out of, which is that's with the 90% rule of it, which is at the top, right? And if you look at how the market has been behaving, it's been moving in a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. So we're currently at a low, And should the market respect that behavior, it is why I believe that it still has potential to go to the upside. And if you look at the candles, candlesticks, guys, are very important on the higher time frame, right? We have two bullish candles over there, of which if the market does respect that this mini uptrend, it will push up until up that level. So hence I would be looking at the off Usdcad being a buy. But I chose to erase those or not to have them, just so I can make it everything clean, right? So for me, this is what I see. This is the lowest low, that's the high, and then that's the middle level that I identified. And then what I'm saying is if the market respects or continues moving these highs and lows, then I'm definitely looking for Usdcad being a buy. And then if you go to the H4, right? So only two things can happen over here, okay? So what could possibly happen? So scenario one, if Usdcad still has downside potential, then it will respect this mini trend in that sense, and then it should come back to the downside and then go up, right? So that's the first scenario that I would have. However, if we treat it like this, or in a sense that it is broken out, then I would most definitely say Usdcad is going to push to the upside in this regard. But like I said, guys, the markets are not clear, this is not the cleanest move you can find. Or in terms of analysis, I'm telling you, it's not the cleanest, right? But it just needs you to understand what's going on. Which is, again, if we can advocate for sales, one could argue and say, bro, now I see sales in this sense, right? Meaning that Usdcad can still potentially go down and go down to complete the 90% rule of this pattern, and then push to the upside, right? So those are the two things that can possibly happen at where the market is at currently, right? So I'm looking at the probabilities of that happening, which is having Usdcad respecting that mini arrow over there and going up, or having it going at least maybe to fulfill that 90% rule and eventually push to the upside. So that is what I think could possibly happen on Usdcad. So last one, Audchf, right? So on Audchf, right, I also need you to pay careful attention, right? So what's also happening over here is that we have some sort of a bearish trend, but if you look at it, so it doesn't make sense. So then let's adjust it like this, right? But then again, that doesn't make sense to me, so I chose not to put it like that. So as you can see here, we've rejected 2 times, and then we have rejected in that level 3 times at the support, 2 times at the resistance. So we have an anticipated future third touch, right? Should the Audchf be push up, right? So this short-term sell that you see over here may not necessarily go furthermore to give us a fourth touch. I'll tell you why. Because again, if you look at this, if Odd gains enough strength, I would like to treat that as a mini pullback, because the market does not move in a straight line. So you may not necessarily go to the upside and cruise in a straight line to give us that third touch, right? So that could possibly be a short term, which is the sales are short term. They're not necessarily the overall move, because the market does not move in a straight line. So what I'm saying, yeah, the market could still push up to give us that third touch, but not as of yet, because it needs to kind of like gain strength, which is why it is now currently pulling back, right? So it may not necessarily go further down, which is for the touch over here. That is what I'm saying. I hope that makes sense, right? So we just gotta respect where the market is currently positioned, okay? Meaning that if that kind of closes like that, okay, we can see Usdcad going down. Let's say maybe at least until that level, because if you look left, you would see that we also need to respect or take into consideration of that point. Okay, hence I highlighted it with that arrow. And then currently it's selling, but like I said, which is we have a correction there after a correction. And once you have a correction after a correction, that usually represents a double top type formation, which is why Audchf could push down. All right, because if you look at it carefully, this is a double top, and then at least maybe until that particular level. Right. So I hope everything that I said here, guys, made sense. Otherwise, like I said, the markets are not so clean at the moment. I'm not sure if it's because we are currently approaching the end of this month, February. So if it goes down, then I'll most definitely be looking at Usdcad to push at least maybe until this level where it could it change direction and actually go to the upside. So if you enjoyed it, like the video, guys, just give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. I'll definitely see you guys on the next video.